Welcome back to Educator.com. This is the Life Science course, and today's lesson is on cellular transport. Our objectives for today will be to describe how selectively permeable membranes work, and also to compare and contrast passive and active transport. And last of all, how do cells obtain the materials they need to perform life processes? So let's start by talking about the cell membrane and how it works. The cell membrane is the gateway or the door into and out of the cell. However, the door doesn't open just for anyone or anything. It's selectively permeable, and what that means is there's certain criteria that must be met in order for you to enter and exit the cell through the cell membrane. The cell membrane has different pores or small holes that allow very small molecules inside. And it also has proteins that help other molecules to go inside. But again, each of those different molecules has to fit a certain criteria. Now, the cell membrane provides protection for the cell. It also helps the cell to maintain homeostasis, and that just means that it has an internal balance of whatever chemicals necessary for that cell to survive. It's able to maintain a specific internal balance because the cell membrane is selectively permeable. For example, if it's got enough, for example, if the cell needs sodium, and if it's got enough sodium, or if it's got whatever it needs on the inside, then for that cell membrane to be effective, it's going to stop pumping in that sodium if the cell inside already has enough. If there's something inside of the cell that needs to come out, that cell membrane is going to be able to pump that molecule out if necessary. Now, all cells need food, oxygen, and other substances for it to function. It also needs a way to remove waste materials, and that is what the cell membrane provides. It provides a way for that cell to get everything it needs in order to function. Now, size matters when it comes to molecules. For example, small molecules, again, they can pass through the pores of a cell membrane. Large molecules, however, need help, and they need help from what we call transport proteins that are embedded into the cell membrane. And those transport proteins help larger molecules to get through. And also, if there are certain molecules that are large or charged, then those molecules may, the cell may require energy in order for those molecules to pass through the cell membrane. Let's first talk about something called passive transport. Passive transport just means that, that there are certain substances that can get through the cell membrane and no energy is needed or required from that cell in order for those substances to go through. So it's very passive. It's like those certain substances can come in the cell and out of the cell pretty easily. For example, water molecules, oxygen molecules, carbon dioxide molecules. Those molecules are able to pass into and out of the cell pretty easily. There's 3 different types of passive transport. The first one is called diffusion. The second one is called osmosis. And then the last one is called facilitated diffusion. Now, they all have their differences, but the main similarity is that they all provide a way for molecules to come into the cell as long as the concentration of those molecules is higher in the outside of the cell than the concentration of those molecules on the inside of the cell. So as you can see, these little red dots represent molecules. and there's quite a few red dots outside the cell than the amount of molecules inside. So these can passively go into, as long as they fit the criteria, they're small enough to go through, they can passively go through the cell membrane as freely as they like, because of the fact that the higher concentration is outside versus inside.